Hi everyone, CG Seb here, and we're back for another tutorial. This tutorial will be in two parts, two videos. The first video, this one, about the modeling of an industrial generator, and second part will be the texturing. For those two videos, I will use Fluent add-on and Fluent Materializer. Those two add-ons, you can find the link in the description if you don't have them. Once you have them downloaded, you go to the Blender preferences and then you just enable the two add-ons that we will need for those two videos. So once you have it, you just enable it. Make sure you have the last version. And for this video, I will, instead of pressing the default key that is F by default, I will press Alt F because I have another add-on that is on the F key. So I press Alt F, F for you, create, right click to show the grid. And now you're gonna use the rectangle shape and hold shift to draw from the center and then make it something like that. So now we need to actually add some supports to hold the generator. So we're gonna right click on this face and click on the square distribution on the grid menu. We're gonna increase the resolution so we are more precise when we draw something. Now we need to click on S, press S to draw a shape and go on the side view. We're gonna make like a triangle shape, sorry. So it's like a support that you can find in generators, electricity generators. So you just click on different points where you want to draw, and once you're done like that, you just right click to finish the shape. Go to the side view to see what you are doing and draw from the inside. It will be in the difference mode Boolean, so you need to switch to union by pressing D, and now you have solid shape. We're gonna move it a little bit, so press G, X, and move it a little bit inside like this. We're gonna use the mirror tool, so you hold click and then press mirror, press the red dot to mirror it on the other side. So we have the base now, and we're gonna check how the wireframe is looking. So you press F and you click wireframe, and we see here that it creates some lines to support the Boolean that we just created, but it's usually not good. So we're gonna go to the edit mode and Control R and draw a line in the middle. So you right click and then you go back to object mode, and as you can see now, it's properly in the middle and it will not create some weird effect after all. You need to go to press F, toolbox and VG cleaner to clean everything up. We're gonna add some shapes. So click here, go right click on this face to show the grid, press C to show the circle shape, and draw a circle like that. We're gonna make it through something like this inside, and like we did before, switch to union by pressing D. The thing is, it might be too close to the shape, and the bevel will create some weird effect like this. So you just press G, X to move it through the X axis, and when it doesn't look weird, you can stop like that. We're gonna increase the resolution so it is a little bit more round and not like blocky. We're gonna use the mirror, hold left click and select mirror, and put it on the other side. Make sure that you don't have weird artifacts, because we have intersection, as you can see here. For example, we have intersection between the circle and the triangle shape, so it usually creates some problem. So you can rotate it until it's not creating weird effect. Check on both sides and you still have this. So to fix it, select the Boolean object, and we're going to actually decrease the resolution so we are less likely to hit an edge that will create a weird effect. You can also rotate it and play with the rotation and the resolution to avoid those weird effects. Make sure to check on both sides, because sometimes it's working well on one side and on the other side it's not working, because the lines are not exactly the same. So once we're done, we're going to create a cylinder, make it 64 resolution, because it will be the main part of the generator. We're going to rotate it, scale it, and put it in place in the middle, like so. You can go to the front view so you can see more like how it looks. We're going to scale it so it looks more like a generator, and we're going to shade smooth, go to the node property, and then here click auto smooth. Now it's looking pretty great, but it doesn't really align, so you can align it a little bit more. So make sure that it is in the middle, like this. Okay. So we have the basic cylinder, and now we're gonna add a bevel. Make sure to apply the scale, because if you don't, the bevel can look a little bit weird. And now the bevel is fixed. So that's good. Now we're gonna use the rotation tool. So click Add and Cut, right click on the face, use the shape tool by pressing S, and then press A on your keyboard, and it will rotate the grid like that with blue lines, like the big lines that you can see. You can scale actually the grid so it match your shape, and you can draw more precisely. So we're gonna draw something like that. The goal is to use the revolve tool, and it will actually make something that is turning around the axis. So we draw just half of the part, and because it's rotating around the axis, it will create it all around it. By default, it's in different mode, so you can just press D to go to union mode, and we have what we want. Sometimes you have some weird bevel like that, and it's actually because the bevel is in the inside. So to fix it, you just hold click, left click, and you click fix normal, and now it's done. We can increase the resolution also a little bit, like that. Yeah, looks nice. So yeah, that's the revolve tool. We're gonna actually mirror it to the other side, so we have the same shape up like that. Nice. Right click to validate your shape, and we're good to go. I find this a little bit too straight, so we're gonna go to edge mode, select this edge, and bevel it like this. And you can choose the bevel segment on the left corner of your screen. We will select first the both sides, so we can bevel them as the same amount. So like something like that. I use just the straight bevel, but you can use the round one. You can play with the segment number and make it like you want. So we're gonna put this more in the middle. Yeah, like this. Okay, good. So now it's looking nice, but it lacks some details. So we're gonna add some details on the side. To do so, you press F, choose the cut tool, and right click on this face. You are gonna draw a rectangle, press R to draw a rectangle. Make sure you are on this face, and then from the middle, you're gonna shift and drag a rectangle. So probably something, yeah, something like that. Then you draw in the inside of the cylinder, and you will have something like this. And now you're gonna hold click and use the array tool. This doesn't look really good because the rectangles are not in the right orientation. So you can rotate them by pressing V on your keyboard. Gonna place him something like that. Looks good. Yep. We have some artifacts because the rectangle of the cut is like intersecting the revolve. So you can go to edit mode and actually scale the rectangle that we just created to change it a little bit, to make it like wider or smaller, to try to avoid those artifacts. Sometimes it's really hard, especially on a round object like that, to avoid those artifacts. And what you can do is select the boolean that we use for the revolve and decrease the resolution of it. It will help with the collision of the edges. And as you can see, we don't have any artifacts anymore. So that's nice. You can also rotate it. If you still have artifacts, you can rotate also the boolean that you used to make the revolve tool. So we're going to mirror it on the other side. Looks nice. We have some artifacts here. Sometimes it can happen that you have artifacts on one side and not on the other side. So like I said, you select the boolean and you can rotate the boolean to try it. So now we're gonna use the inset tool. Right click on the cylinder, choose inset, make sure you are in rectangle mode, and we're gonna use the inset, so something like that. You press V on the keyboard to make it through the object, and we're good to go. It can create some artifacts here because the bevel are intersecting. So you can increase the inset thickness and to avoid those. So we're gonna mirror it like that, and this is good. Nice. So we're pretty much good with this cylinder. I'm gonna add here, right click, go to square distribution, a rectangle, hold shift, and draw a rectangle from here. I want to make like something like you can look inside the generator to repair it or something. If your boolean is actually too close to other lines, it can create some weird artifacts. So here you want to avoid that. So you can select the boolean and actually scale it down or up a little bit to make it to make a gap between your boolean object and the lines of the cylinder. You can show the wireframe to help you with that. We have an artifact in the bottom here, but we're gonna fix it later in this video. Yeah, with the repair tool. So that's looking nice. I'm gonna add a pipe. So if you have Fluent power trip with the pipes, the wires, and the grid, it's the upgrade Fluent version. The basic Fluent version doesn't have that, but you can still make them with cylinders and yeah. So I'm gonna use Fluent Power Trip here, use the pipe tool, click here, hold Shift, and click here. If it looks weird like that, you just press X, Y, or Z, depending on the axis that you're drawing, and it will align like that. So that's pretty much done. We're gonna add a ring, adjust the length, and a little bit the bevel because it's a little bit too big, like that. To add another ring, you're gonna left click, go back to curve, add a ring, and now you're gonna change the position. If you want to move it faster, you press Ctrl while you're dragging and it will move faster. So place it something like that. Right click to validate everything and the pipe is done. Now we're gonna show, we're gonna cut a rectangle here on this face. So right click, square distribution, and draw from the middle by holding Shift. Draw inside and we have a cut. We're gonna mirror it on both sides, here and here. So that adds a little bit of details in your model. So it's always good to go. We can see that we have weird lines like that. We're gonna fix it by showing the boolean that we use to make this triangle. So select this triangle here, and we're gonna go to edit mode to actually draw a line in the middle. So we're gonna use the cut tool, knife tool with K, and we're gonna draw a line here in the middle. If it doesn't draw like that, it means that you're not on the right side and you need to go on the other side because this is the original one. So you press K and you should have those like that. Up, you click and you press enter to validate. Now if you go back to object mode and you show the wireframe, you can see that you have the line in the middle here and it's not on the top anymore. You can use also the VG Cleaner tool by pressing F, toolbox, and VG Cleaner to make sure that your mesh is clean from everything. Now we're going to select again the boolean, and because I have a Fluent Power Trip, I'm going to use the grid tool. So you select the boolean, press F, and click grid. Gonna hold left click and choose your type of grid, choose your size, and once you're done, we're gonna just adjust the position of it so it's like a little bit deeper, and it will replicate it everywhere you have this. So you don't need to mirror it, it's already done. So yeah, that's looking good. I think I'm gonna add here a plane. I could also use a grid for this, but I'm gonna actually use a plane because we're gonna make a grid with Fluent Materializer. I'm gonna show you in the different video. In the next video, I'm gonna show you how to make a grid with the material and not a real grid like with a mesh. So it will be entirely done with texturing. So we're gonna scale this to make it fit up like that, and gonna make it wider, and boom, we have it. So we're gonna put like a texture on it and it will be done. So now that we are done with modeling, we're gonna use the repair tool. So with Fluent, you just select the object that you have your artifact on. So here in the cylinder, we see that we have an artifact. We select the cylinder, we press F, and we go to the repair tool here in the bottom. The first step is the weld modifier. Here we're gonna just go left and click. we select the cylinder, and now it asks us to select the faces where we have an issue. So I usually select multiple faces around the face that I have the issue on. You can select the faces by pressing Shift and click. Once you have selected the faces, you just press Enter, and once you're done, you just right click. And now, as you can see, we don't have artifacts anymore. All right, that was it for this part. So the modeling is done. Now, on the second video, we're gonna texture this model with Fluent Materializer and see how to make it look industrial and cool. So see you guys in the next part.